And hello class, my name is Eric Ruiz. I was assigned Module 6, which goes over Chapter 6 and the Coordinated Management of Meaning theory. I'm going to go over really the entire chapter because that's what it really all talks about and give personal examples of the claims within the chapter that back up the CMM theory. So get started off, Barnett Pearce and Vernon Cronin created the Coordinated Management of Meaning, otherwise known as CMM, to counter the basic transmission model of communication by arguing that there is more going on within communication than a simple direct message um, through a channel. Pearce and Cronin stressed that you must look directly at the entire communication process, yes, the entire communication process, to figure out what it's doing and where it's going. Since this is really difficult to explain in all its entirety, the wife, Barnett Pearce, the wife of Barnett Pearce, Kimberly Pearce, has broken the theory up into four claims. First, that our communication creates our social worlds. Second, that the stories we tell differ from the stories we live. Third, we get what we make. And lastly, the fourth claim, that getting the pattern right will create better outcomes. I'm going to go again through each claim and give personal communication experiences that help back it up. So our first claim, our communication creates our social worlds. This is exactly what Pearce and Cronin mean when they want to look past the message and rather look at what the message creates. Friendships and relationships, I think, are a great example of how a simple conversation can lead to something more special. For instance, the first time I met one of my closest friends was in my high school physics class. I was confused on an equation and just simply asked if she knew anything that the teacher was talking about. Turns out she did and thus explained it for me. As the year went on, we got to know each other more outside of physics, and it ended up leading to a great friendship. That shows how a simple interaction can create a lifelong friend. Second, stories we tell differ from stories we live. CMM states that the communication is a two-sided process of stories told, where we manage the meaning of our statements, and stories live, where we must coordinate our own actions with people's reactions. The stories we all share in this online class is a good example of stories told, where each of us share, wait for our fellow classmates to interpret the story, and then respond. This cause for pause within the interaction isn't present in our stories lived. Our stories lived interaction is the everyday back and forthness of communication that we share with people we come into contact with every day. And our third claim, we get what we make. It's as simple as it's stated. We get what we make out of our day-to-day interactions. If you go to work knowing it's going to be a bad day and you have no drive to change the attitude, then chances are you're going to have a bad day. I've woken up to a flat tire and you think that would hurt the rest of your day, but fortunately, didn't let it phase me. I tackled the situation, solved it, and went on with my day. Pretty satisfied. And then our fourth and last claim, get the pattern right, will create better outcomes. So here, CMM states that you, the individual, can create better social worlds through your communication if you can figure out the pattern. In order to figure out these conversational patterns, you must be a mindful communicator. And this means to not only focus on the conversation, but to also focus on what's going on around them during the conversation. Mindful communicating is like when you're at work and a customer is pulling all your strings and you want to backsash them so bad, but instead you step back, put up with it because you know, hey, they'll only be in your life for a couple more minutes or an hour. But now, by being mindful of the situation, you still have your job, and that person can go on bickering elsewhere. So, in conclusion, the CMM theory is an excellent theory in stressing the entirety of the communication process and not just the message within it. It's great to understand these claims because it can help each of us become competent communicators no matter where we are. So, I hope this helped you get a better understanding of the chapter. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.